From the content creators that bring you the lowest effort content imaginable. You know, the ones that brought you info that devs don't want you to know about. The podcast you probably don't want your girlfriend to know about.
Who?
And will most likely get you banned just for talking about it. Raw, uncut, and uncensored.
We want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Maybe try some mining or something. Remember not to undock anything you can't afford to lose.
Welcome to the Echoes of New Eden podcast. Let's start this bitch.
And welcome everybody to, fuck, I can't even talk.
Drink.
Welcome to Echoes of New Frontier. I am Rambo.
Echoes of
and
New
we are
Frontier.
You know what my issue is? Is like I think I know what I want to say, but then I just jack it up right in the beginning. I end up screwing up the entire sentence. So like I wanted to purposely say Echoes of New Frontier, and just me thinking about it, I fucked it all up. But as everybody knows, yep, it's the typical fashion. It is I, Rambo, and we have Taylor, Opsex the Clown, Rick with us today, as well as OC Can't Stop. So it's been a couple weeks since our last episode. Nice seeing you guys. What's going on?
It's been a while, yeah.
Big hype.
I was gonna say, that's where OC is supposed to say something, and he just
Big hype?
Well, so I guess my question was like, are we sharing the RMT coupons now, or is that like later in the show?
later,
Like,
later.
how are we?
Okay, so
Okay, got it.
right now is when you play the Juby spell.
Right.
right? Where is it? I have to click into it. Where's my Juby spell?
I didn't realize yesterday either in the fireside that I said OPSEC out loud instead of OPSEC. I didn't realize. I say it all the time or type it all the time. I didn't realize I'd said it out loud in the fireside until after the
guys,
fact.
OPSEC is very serious.
It's
business.
very
Not
serious
a laughing
business.
matter, right?
Yeah, it's very serious. Not a laughing matter.
You know what's funny too is in the fireside. I don't know if the entire audience has listened to it. I'm sure it's been leaked everywhere. If you don't have it, I could probably send it to you. But anyway, the later during the show, during the episode, fireside, he said nips too, like a bunch of times for naps, like non-aggression agreements.
You know
right?
why? You know why I say nip instead of nap?
Because
Because that's what OC said. That's what OC
SHH.
says that. OC calls them nips.
What is?
Whoa.
And you
What do
did
you
at the
mean?
beginning of the game, all the way back in Pravi, and it's stuck in my head ever since, so I blame OC.
A nip?
Yeah.
What the hell's a nip?
Same thing as a nap, non-aggression pact.
Oh, was it? Oh my god! You know what? Honestly, dude,
Maybe non-invasive?
Yeah,
Bro,
non-invasion.
honestly, Pat?
Non-invasion
if you
pact.
if you're talking about early Pravi,
Yeah.
you could say almost anything was happening, and you might be right.
Yeah, probably,
Honestly,
yeah. Probably. But I mean, that's where I got it. And I've said nip ever since, though. That's where I got it from, way back in the day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think one of those early ones when we were talking with Catch, that was before that giant yeeting happened in Fat Six. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely hilarious. So I got the recording of the fireside, of course, and I told Taylor I was going to do a techno remix of it in flavor of poking a little bit of fun. But yeah, so it's good to be back. It's been a couple weeks, of course, and I know that we kind of have another hiatus coming up too, because not this next weekend, but the following weekend. I think I'm just looking at my calendar. I think we got some stuff scheduled up. Both Taylor and I are going to be out of town.
Yeah.
And so we have like a scheduled day off there in that case. But I'm thinking about coming out with something a little bit different. You did hear I teased the Echoes of New Frontier. Everybody probably knows at this time the Eve Frontier Phase 4 game has, they'd opened up. And so people have been playing that. I'm pretty sure people have been playing that literally for 24 hours straight, because I seen people in comms when I went to bed, And when I woke up, they were still in comms. I'm like, what are these people doing? So people are having a good time playing that. So I'm hearing good things so far about it, and the propaganda coming out of it too is it's pretty fun. You know, I want to watch what Taylor's clickbait videos have in store for us. So I'll be
Well,
checking
that's
that
the
stuff
that's
out.
the joke. There won't be any. The NDA is a 5-year long NDA that you had to
Yeah,
sign in
rip.
order to play. So there I can't tell you anything about it. I can't give you my impressions on it. I can't tell you what we're doing. I can't tell you what's working, what's not working. I can't now. So no, man. There won't be much
You know-
information coming from me about Eve Frontier. So
At least for phase 4. Yeah, phase 4.
yeah, at least for what we're doing inside of Phase 4. Anything they've publicly released on that Discord, sure. But I think someone said in the chat, y'all need to just stay over there. Well, we will until Thursday, and then it's done. So it's done. You only got a couple more days, and that's it. So it's a very short, very, very short gameplay window.
So is the
Yeah, when I
NDA
saw
not
that-
covered by the NDA?
Oh, then I can't
There's
talk
an
about the
NDA.
fact that I have an NDA for the NDA now. That's,
What game are we talking about?
I don't know.
Hold
Who?
on.
Just there is a game being played. We think, as far as we know, we
As
can't
far as we know,
confirm.
yeah.
Wow.
Let's talk about the Hawk Tool podcast.
No, I don't want
no,
to.
Not really.
No, thank you.
So no cameras today. I did want to mention though, I have my Kansas City number 15 Mahomes jersey on. So go Chiefs. Football is, American football is like peak right now. It's quite amazing to see some of the games and the matchups. And I know a bunch of people that watched the Alabama Georgia game yesterday, and holy shit. If I had a podcast, I'd be covering games just like that from yesterday, because holy shit, dude. Like, that was an amazing game had you seen it. I know there's a lot of people talking about it, but yeah, Georgia was on the comeback, and they were leading for 13 seconds. Absolutely insane. They were leading for 13 seconds. That was the actual stat, but good stuff. I'm glad to see there's going to be a couple good games on today too. So I hope the Chiefs pull out another win today. So I know Taylor's a Kansas City fan. He's a local, so
Yep.
I'm sure the hype is real. Though they're playing in San Diego, right? So
They are playing the Chargers.
Maybe you're gonna go to a bar or something to celebrate the game, right?
No, I'll watch at home.
There you go. All right. Hey, Juby, what's up, Juby? He said he was gonna join. He was
Hello.
gonna join a little bit late. What's up?
I hope the noise is not so bad. We are driving the car to the city right now.
Mä nyt repin häntä. ja
Who's
kaikki
we?
perässä taas. Ja nyt täällä.
Me and my family.
Ah, hi family.
Hi,
Hello.
All right. So let's get into the show content for today. What we got lined up for you guys. We will go over the latest patch notes. Yes, I want to listen to Taylor read us all the patch notes, because when I do it, I absolutely torture them. And quite honestly, I think we could get seduced by Taylor doing that. So I think everybody's in for a treat there. And then later on in the show, we'll have Einher Rule on, and he is the one that had that Reddit post about the AOA RMT Empire. And so during last week or after the post, we've been talking, and he had agreed to come on to the show. So if he's not in the audience now, I'll be sure to ping him when it's closer and get him on. And we'll be talking all about that type of stuff and what's come out since then too, because there's a bunch of stuff that's come out since then. Conversations happening, Kraken statement saying that they're going neutral with AOA. So that's breaking news that happened a couple days ago, amongst some other community news and such that we have brought to you today. So it's going to be a good show, and I'm excited to cover all this stuff with you. So with that being said, let's get into it. And as we all know, that the community manager is like AFK basically once a month. Nothing ever gets posted, right? So if you actually look on the Eve Echo's Discord, they haven't had an announcement in literally a couple months. It's all just patch notes type stuff. They don't say anything. Though I am kind of hoping that they will say something regarding the EULA regarding this whole RMT thing and whether or not that gets justified or whatever. But basically, we just have patch notes. No announcements. We just have patch notes. There is a Discord announcement, but it's JF. I'm not even going to read it. But let's cover the patch notes here, all right? Taylor, you got them posted or brought up for the video?
I got them pulled up to look at them. I don't have them on the video. That's fine though. Obviously, you guys know you can go and get it from. Let's see.
Honk dot.
Yeah,
patch.
I'm going to type it in over here
Honk
on the live
dot
chat.
click dot patch.
It's HTTP.
If it's not bookmarked on your phone already, I mean.
Well, it's bookmarked over on the thing, but I got to pull. I got to type it in. Azazel! Yeah, that. Boom. If you don't already have that, you should be using that to read your patch notes. It's updated the moment it gets pushed to the game. It's just automatic. So, and it's a very easy way to read it without having the game pulled up. So, I don't even know who you are, McChicken. So, whatever. Okay, let's look at the patch notes from this last week, 9/25. During that last update, we got two new implants. The first one was Kinetic Burst. The second one was Multi-Frequency Crystal. And both of those are, one's for rails, one's for lasers. And that brings the total count up to, 16, I think, of the mainline implants. And it's 3 per, or maybe 18 in total. I forget now. But anyway, it's 3 per weapon type. So now we have 3 that are missiles. We have 3 that are rails, 3 that are lasers, 3 that are cannon, so on and so forth. We don't have any that are decomposer yet, so, they're slacking. No decomposer
Yeah, I'm kind of
implants.
surprised by that.
I kind of
Maybe
am
that's
too.
Why people don't use
honestly,
the Yangjung ships.
Well, I mean, they get bonuses to every weapon type, so what does it matter? Like, it's like, here, let's make this.
Yeah, true.
Let's make this
Very
space
true.
shuttle of a useless ship, and give it no bonuses for the one weapon type nobody uses to maybe hope that they use them, but we don't really want to use them, but they're there. But we'll talk about it like we care, and then we don't. So, anyway.
It is quick question though. Is there anything in New Eden that even drops decomposers? Not yet.
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so
anymore.
either.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, crazy.
So no. So we have the two new ones. And I mean, my first glance at looking at both of these, I mean, the Kinetic Burst, I would think would be I look at that and read the stats on this, and it looks it's a level 1 Kinetic Burst is when activated, reduces railgun tracking speed and increases the fatal blow rate. Each hit increases the fatal blow rate further, and landing a fatal blow will reset it. And then it goes on from there. Like level 15 is kinetic damage or thermal damage. Level 30 is another increase to the fatal blow rate. Same thing with kinetic or thermal damage on top of that for resistance of your ship, right? So you can add resistance back to you. And then level 45, it goes all in with increases the evasion rate against the turret weapons. So when you look at that, I instantly thought of a Moros for this ship as the ship you'd want this on. That was my first thought. I mean, the DPS on some of the Moroses that I see is insane. I mean, we're talking 200K or more. Not sustained, obviously, full hot and everything else. But to me, this looks like you could increase that just by going through and reading what the Kinetic Burst does. And an Annihilator as well. Like this implant kind of reads like it's for either the Annihilator or the Moros.
Yeah, I just can't get past the fact of the blasphemy of using railguns. I just can't get past it.
Rails are good, man. Rails are good. The other one, the Multi-Frequency Crystal. So it's level 1, increases the laser tracking speed. So, I mean, that's why. So if you look at the difference between these two, right? The first one talks about reducing its tracking speed. And railguns have excellent tracking to begin with. So, okay. Hitting larger targets. That was my thought process for it. Multi-Frequency Crystal does the exact opposite. It increases the laser tracking speed for a period of time after activation, but increases capacitor consumption. So it's kind of got a little bit of vibes of the Pulse Crystal one, which I don't think anybody really understood for a while when it first came out. But it's an amazing, I mean, it's not as good as FC in terms of top damage, but it's an amazing, initial alpha strike type of implant when it gets up to the higher levels. A lot of DPS involved in it. And I think the same thing might be true for this, but you get better tracking speed. So the first thing I thought about for this, obviously, would be the Azazel. Because when you look at the next two levels, like...
The what chip, sorry?
The Azazel.
Okay,
That one,
sorry,
yes. Yeah, that one. That's the first one that comes to mind, because if you look at the level 15, it's Efficiency Circuit and Overclock Mastery. So you have a choice between those two. On the Circuit one, it's while under the multi-frequency resonance state, it increases the effects of Shield Booster and Armor Repper. So you get an increased effect on your Shield Booster if you have it set to Circuit. If you have it set to Mastery, it reduces the activation time of the energy Nosferatu, not a neutralizer, but a Nos. So doesn't the Azazel get a bonus to the Nos, or is it the Newt? Someone remind me of that.
I'll look right now.
I think it's just electronic warfare. I'd have to look for it in game to see specifically what it says.
Right.
I think it's just electronic warfare.
Right. So, I mean, you can reduce your activation time of your NOS by setting that. Then you can have the bonus from that ship as well.
It gets to both. It's
both, right.
Per level, it's 12% NOS optimal, 15% NOS absorption efficiency, and then it gets the same thing mirrored for Newt.
Yeah.
I think the webs are 20%. That might be slightly less than the Gorn. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I did
what
get
we
a
really
bonus
need is
to
we
webs.
it's the same as the Bogorn. We're really
Right.
just Brad here to explain how this is going to affect frigate pilots. Like, that's really what we need.
How these two implants affect frigate pilots?
Yes, specifically.
Well, if you look at the kinetic burst, put that on a I get the Daredevil and the Dremel fucked up both times. Every time I can't remember which one's cannon and which one's rail because I don't fly either one of them.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil is rail.
So if you look at the range extension on this, when you start to get up to like level 45, and you look at what kind of range you can get to the increase of it, it feels to me like I did a little bit of the math in my head, so I could be wrong. But it looks to me like the increase in range that you can get out of it means that you could hit at the same length. You can hit from your long point distance, your max long point distance, or close to it. So now instead of it just being a good long point tackle, it could still do quite a bit of damage at that range as well, which I think is kind of interesting. I'd have to really, I mean, frankly, with Nedia's code, you'd have to really just go and get it and level it up to 45 and try it to know. But it feels to me like the range is there because even at level 15, doubles the passive optimal range boost, right? Just at level 15. Then you can do that. I think it does it again. At 45, does it say something about distance increase? Increases the evasion rate. Successful evasion increases fatal blow. Blah, 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 blah. No, I guess it doesn't at the other one. And I had to go back and look at that again. But to me, in my head, I felt like that was a good one. You know, a level 45 implant for a frigate. I mean, come on. But still, it sounded pretty good to me.
Only true ballers. Only true
ballers, right. No snowflakes here. The other one, I could see it being good for a cruiser. I could see it being good for a Hick. You know, maybe a Fiend, maybe a Phantasm, or maybe a Fiend, really. Just from the standpoint of the NOS effect, or, you know. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about that one too much in terms of a smaller ship. It just seems to me like that's a battleship. That's perfect for a battleship or bigger type of implant, not anything else. And of course, they're available in the option boxes to buy. And I'm sure at some point they'll drop. The cores will drop to be able to craft them, like just about every other core is now droppable. Although the rate is atrocious and the cost is really high, it is what it is. There's been talk about new DRs for so long now. I don't even really want to mention it, but I don't know. Maybe finally with the rounding out of all the weapon types having 3 each, they'll finally do it. I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Barrick. The Yashimu might be good for that. That might be a good implant for the Yashimu. That might be a good cruiser for it. We do need new anomalies as well. Yes, we do. We need new anoms. It's time for a little bit of a refresh there. Balance
I thought you were
updates.
going to say it's time for a little bit of Photoshop.
Maybe. But I think because of timing and everything else, the Photoshop stuff that I have ready to go and loaded up, I don't think. See, our next show will be on the 6th next week. The weekend after that, the 13th, is when I'm gone. I'm going to be at a trade show for like a week and a half, so it won't be until the 20th, and that's probably about the right time for me to release the Photoshops that I have. So we'll see. We'll see.
Wait, after the trade show? Is that what you're saying? Is
Yeah.
After, that's a good time? Okay.
Yep, the 20th.
right.
The 20th, yeah. So we'll see.
Right before possibly a Halloween event.
Right before a Halloween event.
If they do it.
Which, it's weird. They always
Is it
seem
scary
to
that-
do these events like backloaded, like, oh, let's do a Halloween event, and we'll start it the week of Halloween instead of the month leading up to it, right? So that the event goes like 2 weeks past the actual like holiday. So, but I don't know when Halloween is in the rest of the world. I don't even know if the rest of the world has Halloween, so maybe that's the thing. I don't know.
Well, you got to carry the one though, so I mean, people forget that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, no. It's not a one that
I-
we're carrying anymore. It's an infinite number of decimal places that we have to round our tritanium and pyrite and everything from, right? So, yeah.
I know there are some countries that don't celebrate Halloween. I remember one specifically. I want to say was the Netherlands, and Taylor, you probably know of Niker, or AKA Mattarella. He was from that area at the time, and I remember roasting him on a joke. I said, even though his country doesn't celebrate Halloween, he celebrates it every day, and it was kind of like a roast. And but anyway, it's kind of scary to know that they're going to release an event and it's just going to attack your wallet. I think that's the scariest part.
I mean,
honestly, what might be scarier than that is I want to know why the country doesn't celebrate Halloween. Like as a whole culture, did they have a bad experience? Right? Did it get too real for them? Like, did they all collectively experience vampires? Like,
what, in China?
Whatever. Whatever. No, I think they're giant Winnie the Pooh fans, though. But no, I mean, whatever country doesn't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah. It's an American-made thing. That's probably why. Like most holidays are, like
capitalism,
like Christmas.
Yeah. Usually we don't celebrate Halloween in Finland, but sometimes there's, a lot of alcohol and people dress up. And
dude,
it's Halloween.
If you need us to send you pounds of shitty candy corn, blink twice, bro. Okay? Like, we can support you, Juby. Okay.
Dude,
Thanks,
I wonder if we
man.
should have. I wonder if we should have an Eve Echoes pumpkin contest.
I would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see what people actually come up with as far as that goes. I seen one I was thinking about doing this year was a check engine light on a pumpkin. I've never done that, but yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like a rifter. Or
someone
something.
posted a map.
Yeah,
Barrett
I saw
posted
that.
a map of countries. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's cool.
So Barrick posted in the on-air chat a map of the countries that celebrate Halloween. So
Yep.
it appears that Canada, United States of America, Russia, China, Australia, New Zealand, those are the big ones. And then you can zoom in a little bit, you could see like the UK, Germany, Austria, Italy, some countries in Europe are also celebrating it. Japan celebrates. Yep.
I understand
there
why
you go.
Mexico doesn't, because they have the authentic Halloween, which is Day of the Dead. So I
Yeah,
mean,
like the badass Halloween. Right?
yeah, they
Actual Halloween, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I get that. Oh wow, look, someone did a
AI
AI rendering of the pumpkin.
Nesville, real pumpkins. Real pumpkins. Might have to do it this year. We'll see.
Want to buy? Yeah. Can we get a ship? Can we get a skin that makes our ship look like that? That'd be kind of hilarious. But I mean, we need the Grimace skins back. I mean, being serious about a Halloween event, like, my God, how many years do we have to ask them to like? Didn't they last year though? It wasn't last? They did. They did last year. Re-release the Grimace skins.
Yeah, I think so.
They
You just
did.
didn't get the,
So that was good.
the maze is what everyone wants, right? Like the maze with the modules.
Yeah, the Predators and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath for that kind of an event coming around. I'm just not, because I don't know.
But will you hold your wallet though?
Give us some, probably. Probably. I mean, they're going to start getting reasonable about some of the stuff that they charge for and how much they're charging for it. Like at some point, they've just got to, the whales have got to just stop reinforcing it. Something. I don't know. Anyway, all right, back to the patch notes. But where was I? Balance updates. So for the Chameleon, the Fiend, the Adrestia, whatever, the one no one flies. I know 3 people that do, and that's it. And the Celios special modes removed, but gained +1 mid slot that can fit the respective tactical modules. So finally, I knew this was coming, and this is coming for everything. So it's coming for your Neros 2 Haulers defense mode as well, by the way. So the new defense tactical module, it transfers the power from the ship's power and weapon system to increase shield and armor resistance while reducing its signature radius. The module has a +25% shield resistance and armor resistance and a -25 damage and flight velocity, right? So you're going to go slower. Now, compare that to what it was before, and you had a slightly higher shield resistance. I want to say it was almost 50%. And the armor was 30% before, but your flight velocity was -50%. You lost half your speed and got that kind of a buff on either shields or armor. For me, that takes the Fiend, which has long been a shield ship, and permanently to me makes it nothing better than armor every time for it. So that's my mind on it. Now that those buffs are the same, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I have no comment. I don't even fly cruisers.
Yeah, so I love my Fiend. Sucker goes 7,600 meters a second now. So even at half that speed, I'm still tackling you. Exactly. And of course, they can be obtained from the market. They're on the Jita market, in with all the other tactical modules, which is slowly becoming a very wild collection of modules all in the same place that apply to various different ships, and it's not exactly obvious which ones apply to what. So at some point, they're going to wind up cleaning that up as they add more in there. I don't think the same defense tactical module will go onto a Neros 2, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll wind up blanketing that across multiple ships. But anyway, that day is coming, haulers. Combat adjustment. While nearby sentry guns, shield defense, force field, armor link module, and supercarrier cover module can no longer be used. Does anybody know why that is? Why they made that change to where you can't use those modules next to a sentry gun? See if the audience knows. Yep, exactly. Faction warfare exploit. You could sit there and literally tank for somebody on the gate so that they could shoot everybody and still survive it and warp off and kill them. So, yeah. You could get buffs without them even being as part of it. And you couldn't shoot them either. If you started to shoot the facts, because people are doing the faxes, you start to shoot the facts, they're not part of the faction warfare mechanic. Therefore, you're not supposed to shoot them. The gate guns now shoot you. So... That's pretty funny. Anyway.
I need your best impression of the in Soviet Russia, the guns shoot you.
Sleeper relics adjustment. They reduce the strength of the elite sleepers, whatever. They reduce them by 20%. They increase speed. They gain loyalty points. The effective gathering range has been changed from 25 to 10. So it's a smaller radius now. Reduce the number of systems at war, and increase the quantity of sleeper relics in each system. We had an issue there for a little while where it was kind of runaway faction warfare, where it wasn't 4 systems, it was 5 and then 6 and then 9, and they were everywhere. And they were only spawning on like low-sec entry, the low-sec entries into null, which is kind of hilarious, but also not fun for some of those people that they were spawning on, like, Socked and Ned. They didn't like that down there in TSC. I don't think we ever had one in any of our entry points. Did one spawn?
Yeah, I don't recall.
I don't recall them ever being up at our entry points up to the north, which is kind of fascinating that didn't happen. But now they're kind of all over the place. They're kind of in the middle of low sec, It looks like, and there's only like 4 or 5 active at a time, so they fixed that. Then, of course, they introduced the new event, the Stellar Clash, which is, of course, combat leaderboard, munition leaderboard, so building and or kill mill leaders. I haven't gone and looked at that in days to see who... yeah, Tama, that's pretty funny, Beric. I haven't gone and looked at that in days to see who's leading that. And where that stands. I haven't looked at it in days.
I'm firing up my emulator right now. I could check, but
Yeah,
the
let me
last
know.
time I saw, there was a number of corporations, a lot of AOA stuff. I'm trying to think of some of the more notable but yet I looked at it like on the second day of the event, so obviously it's probably changed since then.
Yeah. I mean, it's medals and banners again. Who cares?
Yeah, at this point, it's like if you already... I don't even know if I want to go through all the crap to go through to get another medal or a banner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we still haven't got the medals from, I don't know, was it last year?
Was it Mask? So you
Yeah.
have to get with your CEO on that, because he probably has a character that's an alpha account now or whatever, and has a message in his inbox that he probably never checks.
Oh, is he not?
Yes.
Does he play? Or...
Godantilus is already saying something in the chat. He's
So
the mask.
what do we got? Levon just shared one of the screenshots of the live rankings. Ship combat leaderboard. Nilf is number 1. Sorry, that was my emulator.
Hey, nice.
That was good timing.
That was. Nilf.
THD, Self, CRB is number 4. X is number 5. PYRT number 6. So there you go. Nilf is number 1. Good on.
That's amazing.
That's always a good group for PvP. I mean, any of these right here.
Yeah.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Top 6. Fucking shut up. God dang it.
This is the builder side. XLTR. Oh, look who's number 3.
Sir, that's OPSEC.
OPSEC.
It is OPSEC.
He's upgrading all his citadels to T5 as we speak. So
Right.
That's going to be exciting when it comes out. Like, you're going to look to see what's donated, and it's going to just be like AOR.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I am looking forward to
OS has always
Keystones.
been one of the top corps. Like, you always see him on the leaderboard. Maybe not for kills, but other stuff.
Actually, you want to hear something? So this is actually a funny Nettie's moment. So just in case... So, you know how they always say, like, never assume malice, you know, when ignorance will do, or incompetence, right? So,
Right.
So this is a message support sent to me, right? So after the years of waiting for our medals, they send us our stuff. We always get our stuff, and they usually send us with interest, which was nice. So we got a lot of extra shit. But the reason why we waited years to get our medals was because every time we placed top 3, we kept asking for the same thing. So their process is, just for anyone who doesn't know, like when you win, and by the way, the rules for this event are different. This is different than every other event before. But for the prior events, if you were top 3, your CEO is supposed to send in 2 files. One is, I think, a screenshot of the image, and one is the PSD. So they send that in, they send it to the artist, he creates a ticket, he makes the image, then they send it back over to the support team, and then they generate, you know, a way to either send it to the CEO, and they either send it to you via mail, or they give you a number that you talk to support and you get it redeemed. So they looked at our image, and the artist is like, I already did this. The work's done. So the support's like, oh, and close the ticket. No, I will not change my spot. No, but seriously, there's actually like 7 near me. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, so that happened for like 2 years. And we kept explaining. It's to the point where I have like every communication ever recorded in a spreadsheet, everything we've done. So eventually, my boy Cloud stepped in, and I think we pretty much have a permanent customer service channel at this point. So, yeah. So yeah, they just kept thinking they did the work, and then they were like, listen, stupid user, we already sent you that shit. So then every time we opened up another ticket, they're like, no, they already said that these guys are trying to pull a fast one, and just kept closing it. So that is Nettie's support, ladies and gentlemen.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. You would, I, I understand if you don't want to invest too much time in your game client and having like a separate management interface, but it's like, bro, Discord bots, you can hire people for like 40 cents to code shit, right? You already had us off our in-game characters against Discord as an opportunity, right? Like, at a certain point, it just feels like the winners of the events, you should be able to tie to people on the Discord. You should be able to see, like, it should be a lot easier than what happens with support, but not a priority for them, I guess, right? As long as the credit cards are swiped, so.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, last little bit for patch notes from this last week. Obviously, the new arrivals, the implants are there in the boxes. We talked about that. It is 18 different kinds of implants that are in it. Those are the main 18 now instead of 16. But they also have a lucky draw implant advanced option box for the version 4 advanced units. So, oh boy, the ones you literally can't fucking make because the percentage on your chance of making one of those is less than zero. It feels like it's just ridiculous. Optimizations, added new nanocores that are compatible with faction battleships and destroyers. The corporation logo can now show contract records done on behalf of or corporation log, sorry, can now show contract records done on behalf of the corporation. After enabling the siege mode weapon animation will be played instead. I don't understand that one. I've never looked at my Dread close enough to give a shit. NetEase passes. Oh, yeah, they got this new thing here. Let's talk about this for a minute. They have a NetEase Pass link for login features to be able to tie your account to a NetEase Pass now. It's a red button instead of like the blue for Facebook and a black one for X or Twitter. Or maybe that was blue. I forget what they changed the color to now. But yeah, now there's one that it just showed up. Even before the patch, by the way, it just showed up to where it was there randomly on different people's devices. I was seeing people ask, like, what's this for? What's this? Where'd this come from? So they were implementing that even before the patch hit on Wednesday. I don't know. Good thing, bad thing? Do you want to have your account tied to NetEase instead of somewhere else? Think of the support issues with that, by the way. I'm going to have a hard pass on that. It's like two-factor authentication is what they're doing.
Not doing it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, there are some bug fixes. You can read those. Blah, 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 blah. It's not a whole lot of... I don't think there's anything massive in there that was causing huge issues because the huge issue ones they supposedly have fixed. Game's good. Game's solid. There's no problems. Okay. That is it. Yeah, the Wang Yu. Did we talk about that? Did we talk about the Wang Yu? In the growth core? The growth fund or whatever when you get up to like 1,800...
Yeah,
days.
That's how you unlock it.
That's how you unlock it. And then the next
purchasing Duo Omega.
Like 3 months after that, 1,920 days, then you get the nanocore for it. A useless ship. It's a useless ship. It's like the KNU Logistics. It's just a useless ship.
It's like my Praxis 2 that's sitting in the hangar.
Sorry, so I just want to make sure I understand. It's a can-you ship of questionable value, is what you're saying?
It's a Yangzhun ship of questionable value, yes.
Interesting. Okay.
The best ship out of that entire series, still to this day, is the destroyer, the Zhan Yu. You can actually do some interesting stuff with that destroyer. Everything else sucks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I lost it and never redeemed it. Rip.
Nestle, can you post it as a suggestion so we can all upvote it?
Yeah, can you delete all those ships? Yeah. Exactly. All right, that's it for the patch
New
notes.
soundbite incoming. Every time OC talks, I'm gonna do the
chirp
noise of a.
Oh my god, bro!
It's so annoying when it happens in it doesn't last for very long. I go and get rid of it, find it and get rid of it immediately.
Really, what it is I need to do them all at once, and one of them is like one of these ceilings is like 35 feet high, right? So like. That's a weekend project, and it wasn't this weekend. So,
all right. What's next, Rambo?
All right. Next on the agenda is having Einhorn. Einhorn. Lois Einhorn. No, I'm joking. The Einhorn rule. That's how I say the name. I don't know, but pretty sure he is in the audience. I'm gonna invite him to speak. He is next on the agenda here that we got coming up here. We're gonna talk about this AOA RMT thing. It's not. I mean, there's a bunch of entities involved with it, but AOA was a pretty dominant one in all the screenshots that we could see, and this has kind of been a long-standing issue that I've been beating for quite a while, and I was super glad to see that this post had come out of it. I'm just glad that he had done the research and all of that type of stuff to be able to provide such a good Reddit post about it too. So I did invite him to the show, and I didn't see if he's in the stage just yet. Are you up here yet? I invited him. He's in the audience. I invited him. There he is. And you'll have to correct me on your name as well. Welcome, Einher.
It's a made-up name, so say it however you want.
Yeah? I mean, mine could be Rambo too, or Propagambo. I think I've heard that one quite a bit lately. So welcome to the podcast. I know it's your first time here. I had to invite you to the Discord, so welcome to the show, and welcome to the Discord. I am glad you're here to talk about this issue and move forward with it as to what we can do as a community to potentially even minimize this, address issues, expose them, hopefully get people fined or even like account banned for some of this stuff, because a lot of it is against the EULA. And depending on who you talk to, it seems like, well, some people are for it, some people are against it. What's their stance on it? So then there's kind of that whole ring about it too. But do go into, for those that may not follow the Reddit or the comments on there, or follow any other platform that covers this stuff, because really we're the only platform that actually talks about this stuff. And so for people that don't know, please discuss or tell us about your post and some of the findings that you have seen or found, and as well as take a peek at the on-air chat, and for people that have questions, they can ask questions as well. That goes for the staff too.
Yeah, so I was kind of just fed up of everyone asking for proof, claiming that AOA were botting and scripting and cheating at the game, and I was kind of fed up everyone just asking for proof, and I figured, well, it'd be easy to prove if somebody bothers actually doing it. So yeah, I spent a bit of money and made some orders, and I was actually shocked that I didn't get anything sent from Meow or any Russian corps. I think I probably would have had to spend money on a different site to get that. But once the contracts started coming in, I was quite surprised that they don't try and hide anything. They use their own CEO accounts, send the money direct from them, and if you follow back the CEO accounts, you can kind of trace the meal stops. You can kind of see what the bank corps are where they keep the ISK, and you can kind of trace everything back. And I think there's about 83 or 84 corps now that you can kind of trace back where they're making ISK stops at.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. You could tell that by their corporation history. And do talk about this map that you've made about linking all the corps and basically minimizing them to some of the larger groups.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see I'm still making the map. The map's still expanding. I'm still kind of hunting down, following, because you can follow from a CEO's account. You can follow to see a corporation that maybe has only one member that they start, but then they leave the next day and assign someone else as a CEO. And you can see that CEO will then make another corp. And I think I found, for instance, 7 Chinese corps that have been made by the same guy. He'll make another one the next day, another one the next day, and you can kind of follow on from there to see, kind of wide network. But the original map I made, the one that I posted, that's only showing either organisations either had a direct ISK seller sending contracts, mainly one of the directors or the CEOs, or it's showing corporations where the CEO who sent the ISK has stopped off in for a day for a meal stop, most likely to collect ISK or to send ISK to a seller.
Yeah, it's quite crazy to see the amount of corporations that are involved with this and some of the entities that they're involved with as well. But I guess it comes to no surprise that AOA has done this, and they do it openly. So I guess that comes to the issue as to why we're talking about it, right? Is because, well, I'll ask you, why is this an issue?
Well, it completely tanks the entire market. If they're running bots and they're running scripts and they're even just having players play for 8 hours a day and paying them a small wage, that's massive amounts of ISK that's getting pumped into the system. And every ISK that's sold is ISK that's spent in the market, buying something. So that's ISK that's then getting recirculated. It's driving the prices of Plex up. It's driving the prices of fitting ships up. And if it gets to the point where you have to spend billions to fit even a T9 or T8 ship to be competitive, then it makes PvP a nightmare for new players. It ruins the game for new players before they even start.
Yeah, and you mentioned new players though, and in contrast, so say if I start a new character and I want to buy some C-type items on the market, or some named items that are rather expensive considering my T6 account is very noobish. Why not just spend real money to be able to get that type of stuff, or to get the ISK to be able to get that stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, I looked at it, and you could buy, you could spend $30, and with $30 you could have a dread. If you were to buy it with Plex, you'd probably be spending $100 before even fitting it.
Yeah, and that goes all the way up to even supers. It's like, well, okay, but with all this has come out, you're talking about botting and how it fuels this a little bit, and botting of course has been a hot topic for a while, especially on this platform. We talk about it, and of course I know botting and RMT goes hand in hand, especially with some of these entities, and I've always considered it basically the same thing. Is it's bad for the game. You could agree with that, and it always seems like it's the same offenders as well, and that's really what I've been trying to say for a long time. But it does seem like the politics of New Eden does get in the way. It does cloud a few minds when it comes to their perceptions as to what they think is good or bad for the game. Which, I mean, it's okay. That is that's their stance on, and I can't change it. I have to respect that. But when you look at this, and especially when you go into the depth like you have, I understand you spent about $1,000 of your currency on this type of stuff, and so it's now what?
Well, you made an interesting comment there as part of this, that it drives up prices and it drives up the Plex price, and that makes things more expensive in the game. We've seen the inflation side of things in the game all year long until here in the last month. What do you think is attributing to the Plex price coming down so hard and fast in the last month, even though it's technically gated by NetEase in terms of it, we don't actually get fair trade of Plex at whatever the market sets. They literally limit its either inflation or deflation every week over week, by a percentage of what its base value was at 2 weeks prior.
Well, what they determine the base value, plus it's also decoupled, right? Yeah. So it's like if you add all those things together.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's driving it down. I'm asking Einher what he thinks is driving it down in light of all of this RMT stuff.
I've no idea. It could be, people flooding the market trying to get rid of the Plex they've got in their accounts before accounts get banned. I noticed when I've been looking at the accounts that are up for sale, there's some accounts that are being sold that have 150,000 Plex in the account. So it could be someone's bought an account and they're just, flooding the market with Plex. It could be anything.
Accounts for sale that have thousands and thousands of Plex on them.
That's interesting.
Didn't even think about that. That's amazing.
I haven't seen that. I have seen accounts with assets like ships and supers, capitals, and all that type of stuff. But that's the first time I heard about possibly Plex being on the account and then it being sold.
Well, there's a account being sold just now with a CEO of a corporation that has 70 members and 2 solve systems. So you could just go ahead and buy, an account that's already the CEO. I don't know whose alliance this corp's in, but it's probably the easiest way in this day and age to get us to buy into an organisation is just to buy the account that's already in the organisation.
I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Let's disregard my alt corporation. Let's not talk about that right now. The fact is, well, we've heard about this in the past too. And Einher, if you've heard about this too, is when accounts get purchased, especially when they are high ranking within their corporations and they have specific roles and permissions that are able to do things, they are able to say buy an account or sell an account, have some person buy it for however much. Okay, hey, are you reputable? Sure, I'm going to sell my account to Taylor, let's say. He thinks I'm a good person. I won't ask for it back, which that could be true. So he does what he does. He does what he needs to do. But say 3 months from now, he decides that he needs it to have CEO permissions for whatever reason. ISCMU, I don't know, whatever reason. I just happen to be like, you know what? I want my account back. And I can basically get my credentials back from NetEase because they had their system implements that ability for me to say, hey, this is my original account info, and I'd like to get back into my account. Can you reset it or whatever? So they go through that whole process. I get the account back. Now I'm CEO of Taylor's Corporation, and I could do literally what I want to do with it. And this has happened in the past. We know of this, and I know Immortals is listening, but Dead happened to be one of the corporations that happened to. So similarly, this happens potentially more often than we know. But like you said, this for $5-10, maybe $40, you can get a CEO account and possibly even do more damage. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I was tempted to sell my account, but then just include my Reddit account and my Discord account, and let them just pay me a fortune, and they can take the post down or they can implicate someone else. Why not? Make some money.
Taylor, did you have something to add on that?
No, not really. I'm reading what people are saying in the chat, and I'm kind of scrolling through. I went to G2G just to see if I could find someone selling a CEO account, and I just shake my head at what's for sale over on that. It's just crazy. That's just insane. And it's like 2 people. It's 2 people that are maybe 3. They're selling everything, and that's it. So it's like you can't tell me that that's a coincidence. That's just crazy.
I think the one selling most of the accounts, I think, is Stranger Shop.
Yep.
And Stranger Shop was, whenever I bought from Stranger Shop, it was mostly from US CEO or directors. And they're the ones making most of the mule stops. But you can see that they end up back. So they'll do, I think I counted 70 mule stops from that one account, and then they end up back as the CEO of US. But every mule stop they make, every corp they stop into, there's someone with leadership level access to be able to authorize whatever corp mission's been done or to access the wallet. So every one of the corporations on there, potentially, if they really wanted to do something about it, they could look at their own logs, they could audit themselves, they could check if their corporation's been up to something shady. It's within their power. All these corporations I've mentioned, they can all do something about it if they want. They can look at their own logs, they can see what's been happening.
Yeah, you make a good point there. In order for an ISK mule to join a corp and transfer ISK and evade the 7-day donate to the wallet thing that's implemented into the game, they have to have the ability to have somebody make a mission to either ask for or give the ISK. So that's when you really look at who's on the officer team that's doing this, or who's in the leadership team that's doing this, that has the permissions to do it. So it goes, even beyond sketch as to, holy crap, some of these corps, it's the corp that's involved, not necessarily just 1 or 2 people.
Highest price over there right now on the account side is $4,400.
And it's got what, 2 Aeons, a couple of Visagos.
No, this one sounds disgusting. It's like 9 T9 accounts. 100 million SP. I don't know why it says 9 T9 accounts. Caldari race, 100 million SP. Gold implants, core heart, Lancer, Kara, Dread, and punishment skills. PvP ready. $4,400.
See, that doesn't make
any sense.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
I mean, 100 million SP. That's obviously T10.
Yeah, but
So,
that's like what?
right off the bat. Anyway, so since the post, Einar, you've had some outreach. You've had some people reach out to you. You've had some people also remedy some of the stuff that you've exposed. Tell us a bit about what has happened since the post.
Yeah, so I think Silent pretty much were the first group to take action and kicked Graceful. I think Graceful's changed his name since and tried to join somewhere else.
He did, yeah.
I also do believe that that's an alt of someone else, and I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to say because I don't really have evidence and I can't prove that. So if it is that person's alt, nothing I can do about it. The other group that reached out was CYLN from TSC. And they said they were against RMT and agreed that they would kick the guy. They did kick him eventually, but they got a name change in first. I don't know if maybe they just didn't have someone with the permissions to be able to kick him at the time. I don't know if that's why it dragged on, but they got round to it eventually. The other TSC corp, I believe he is still in his corp. I think it's a Chinese corp. They don't. No one else other than the guy for CYLN has reached out. So don't know if they're that interested in it. And other than that, the only other person to reach out was someone from one of the Kraken corps. They were asking for the date the mule had stopped in so they could investigate it, but they never got back to me. So I don't know what they found.
Interesting.
Yeah, very. I'm going back to some of my conversations, CYLN specifically, and it being potentially an alt of one of the leaders, and then it changing the names, and then, let's see, scrolling down further, it's still in Corp.
Yeah, it is.
It's still in Corp. I thought they were against it, and yet...
Still in Corp, yeah. So to answer a question that a couple people had as far as what did the line pilot say when we kicked him, not a damn thing. So he got kicked, he got banned, and I heard nothing. The CEO heard nothing. Just went on. And then did a name change. So that's guilty. I mean, if you didn't do anything wrong and we kicked you and you think you don't do anything wrong, then you'd think you'd I don't know, say why? What the hell's going on? What's the deal? You'd say something. Not a word. Not a word at all. So what it is.
I find it funny about the whole name change thing, and we saw this on a number of counts. B-Town just posted one there. So you see the name, right underneath it is the ID number. So regardless, you can look up the ID number and you can see whatever name that they changed it.
ID number doesn't change.
Or you look into their employment history and it actually shows that the name was changed. And so for them to change the name in disguise, I think is very ignorant. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Some of them had changed them multiple times. And so in one of the cases, they actually paid to have the name changed, potentially to cover up something that they can't cover up. It's just amazing. It's just mind-blowing how all this had come out.
Yeah, I mean, my theory for that is a lot of the ones, the kind of Chinese ones that changed the name, they dropped the corp and then they changed the name. My theory is that they're trying to sell the accounts and they don't want the account to be instantly linked to an account that's outed for something,
Right. Account's burned, get rid of it, sell it, get another one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the ability to make an account is, I think since the start of the game, they've made it more difficult, especially getting rid of Twitter, making logins and using Twitter for new characters was probably a major thing when it came to making botting accounts and alts just very easily. It's not that easy as it used to be. So that potentially was one of the changes that NetEase made back in the day to kind of fight this issue. Obviously, it's still an issue because there's other avenues people can go to be able to make characters. But yeah, I believe it's 500 plex to get a name change. I know chat's talking about that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's 500. It was
Bunkerhead.
confirmed. It's 500.
Confirmed. So there's another. I mean, we didn't talk about it necessarily, but you had posted the image of your contacts list and what their affiliation was. I just posted it on air chat again. And since then, you've probably gone back and looked at some of the name changes that have happened here. And one that Taylor can comment on was the line pilot called Graceful. Now, I do know of a pilot in a corporation that was also named Graceful, but it was not that pilot. So I had that person mixed up, but I'm actually kind of glad it wasn't the person I was thinking of because I didn't expect him to do that. But I don't know. I could have been wrong. But yeah, a lot of interesting names here. Let's say that. Welcome.
Yeah, a
Judy.
lot of
Hi.
interesting names that can't be read.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gmail is another one. Facebook. Those are the. I happen to do Facebook, and so I'll make a new account. I'll make a new Facebook account. Wait an hour, make a new character. There you go. That's how people are doing
Well,
it.
they've got the new kind of NetEase login now, so you can just make an account through NetEase now. I don't know if that's going to make it easier for bots or harder.
Yeah.
Well,
Juby, you're breathing into the mic, bud.
I mean, I think what's nice about that is it shows that they're at least trying to invest in the backend infrastructure. What I want to believe is that means that we're slightly closer to API, but I'm afraid to think that.
No.
So since this post, Einher, you've incorporated a Gmail account for other people to anonymously post their, I guess, RMT or ISK transfers. Has anybody reached out to you about exposing any of that?
Yeah, there's been a few. It's going to get a bit interesting over the next kind of couple of weeks. I can't really say what's happened just now, but I'll be making another post probably within the next week, just to kind of shine some light on some other related things. But these are from people that have sent them anonymously, so they've asked me not to share their name, which I won't do. But I've sent all the ones that I've collected, the ones that I've sent directly to me onto NetEase, so they've got everything, and hopefully they'll actually track it back through the corps that they're moving the ISK through.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. Can't wait to see that.
Sounds like we going to need Rambo Sex Files music in that episode.
What?
Sex Files?
what?
He just said Sex Files music. What?
Oh my god.
Is this a channel you two have that I don't know about?
I was about to say, I feel like we always assume what Juby's saying, but that was clear.
That was
right?
clear.
That one was.
We need the
that
Sex
wasn't
Files.
A spell,
no, no.
I do not
Yes.
have sex files.
Oh boy.
All right, so that can be a soundboard item though, just sex files.
Can it be, please? Yes. I mean,
Sex files.
Yeah. Sex files. Okay. I remade that X-Files song in an after party show one day. And I don't know if you were
Yeah.
there.
You did.
Yeah.
It was good.
So, and Einher, since we have you, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're, it's quite late your time, but thanks for, talking to us about all this. But continuing, kind of moving forward a bit too, and you'd contacted NetEase about this stuff, customer support. Tell us a bit as to what they have been saying and getting back to you on.
Yeah, so initially I made the post and then I submitted a ticket. It was a lot of trouble to submit the ticket. I think I had just over 100 screenshots to submit, with a purchase confirmation, a contract coming in, and then the pilot's identity. And the ticket system basically broke after about 30 images being uploaded. So I also sent it over Discord. The initial ticket was shut down. I think I posted the result of that ticket. I think it was automatically closed, saying that there was nothing worthy of action. But then eventually I get put through to Cloud, and he's sent it on to the review team to have a closer look at it, and he's going to keep on top of it. He said it might take a while because I've submitted so much. So hopefully, if it takes a while, hopefully that's indicative that they're going to actually properly investigate it.
Yeah, it's almost like these drug busts that you hear about, right? It's like, well, you submit all the info, and then of course it's all got to go to the authorities, and they got to make sure that they do the bust and get everybody that's involved with it. And I'm glad you got Cloud on that, you know, as far as the loop. And hopefully, has he said anything since? Do we know any sort of statements as to what the progress has been made on their end?
Nothing yet. He's just said that it's going to take a while for them to sift through it all. I submitted the images first on Discord, and then he asked me to send him a .rar file, which I had to kind of remind myself how to do that. It's probably been about 10 years since I've done that.
Okay. And so in the screenshot that you were referring to earlier about abnormal behavior worthy of punishment, that's what they didn't find. You contacted us. They said, thank you for the report. After review, we were unable to find any abnormal activity worthy of punishment by the reported account. We will continue to observe the player and will punish the player if we detect improper behavior. That's the same response that I got when I reported Vetemune for multi-boxing PvP.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a canned response. I think they're just going to send out that then anyone that reports anything the first time just kind of fob them off, which is a bit kind of poor, really.
Well, I was kind of hoping for a couple laughs in there, but it was a dead joke. But but yeah, I mean, the automated responses, of course, you just got to keep getting past that, and I hope eventually that you do, and I actually hope that they do their investigation and get this. So, you know, you had been talking to Cloud. I haven't been talking to Cloud, though. I have actually talked with the community manager, Maru Naru, and so over the past couple weeks, I've been in talks with her. September 24th is when I sent this message, and this is what I got. Well, basically what I'd asked is RMT in EVE Echoes allowed? There have been reports in a latest Reddit post exposing RMT operations within certain alliances within the EVE Echoes national server. Per the EVE Echoes EULA image attached, selling ISK on a third-party platform will result in what? What is the developer stance on RMT, as this has been an issue for a long time? Characters reported to Arrow in-game have not been properly dealt with. No bans or fines have been implemented to the reported characters. Why is the Chinese community open and advocating to do RMT operations within EVE Echoes, as seen in the EVE Echoes Discord general chat? Images attached. How come botting is worse than it ever has been right now? NetEase seems to not be doing anything about this game and the issues we face every day. I will provide a link to where I can purchase ISK, ships, and other services. This doesn't look good for the EVE Echoes community, and as interim community manager, please take a look at the issues we face as to why, in fairness, this is not good for the game. And I posted a bunch of links and shops and a bunch of stuff for Manu to look at. Also, I sent her the EULA, and let's see, she replied to me 2 days later. Regarding the RMT content, since it involves the Chinese community and Chinese servers, I may need to confirm with the team before I can provide a response. So since then, I have not gotten a response as far as that issue goes from the community manager. So that's an update there.
I mean, that's something.
You used to see the ban notices that would come up, you know, every week with the patch notes. And they're still there. You can go and have a look at them. The last one was last October, and 1,000 players were banned. But if you go back a few weeks before that, you can see that there was times when they were banning 55 and 56,000 accounts per week. You know, so I don't know if they stopped banning people completely or if they just stopped reporting it. But
Well, and what I think is the reason is because they implemented things into the game that at least partially remedied the issue. One was the Twitter logins, since that's no longer available.
Well, the
to
Twitter
use.
the Twitter login thing was Twitter screwing around with their API
Yep.
after Musk bought them. It wasn't anything.
But
that,
do we know that?
No, we know that for sure. I know that for
No,
sure.
it is.
I know that
It is. That's a
100%
fact.
for sure. Yeah. So the Twitter thing was nothing that NetEase was doing. That was all a Twitter thing. However, what they did do to limit the botting side of it, yeah, obviously AI cores had a big impact. But even before that, was they limited you the ability to make a new account off of an emulator. That was the start of their putting things into the game on the back end that negated against the quote-unquote massive rampant botting. Does that mean that since October till now there are no botting accounts being created? Of course not. Why are they not hitting more of them? Why are we not seeing any reports of those? Why are the numbers not even there if they're low or whatever? Because they no longer care. The numbers are too small. They don't care. It's like the 80-20 rule. We're going to focus. We can't focus on 100% of everything. We won't get anything done. But we're going to focus on the top 80% of the things that matter, right? So the little shit they're not going to matter about. And, of course, they've legalized it with AI cores. And back to someone else's point, I think Nessival, they lost too much money. These accounts are still making the money. That's still an Omega account that's getting paid somehow, whether that's the churn of cash to buy the basic Omega, or it's just as simple as, you know, whatever they're doing in game to create the money and turning the economy to pay for it in game, right? With 170 plex, which in turn is getting bought from someone else. So I hate how my face is put on that chart, Nessival. But anyway,
Need to make it official. Put Taylor's actual face on it. And a clown mask.
no.
On top of all that too is the NetEase or just Eve Echo's bot detection methods too.
Yeah.
I think with all of that was said previously has minimized the need for the graphic. And I don't know as to why they don't do the graphic anymore. That could have been just a community manager thing, doing that for the community. I know since then we've had kind of lackluster community managers that don't really do anything. So it could be laziness as to why they don't do it anymore. I don't really know. But could you be seeing 50-something thousand accounts? I mean, look at all the Mauler bots.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that talk about Mauler bots here. Like, they're everywhere. You go through LowSec, there's Mauler bots everywhere. They have generic names. They're just cruising through space. What the hell are these things doing? Oh, they're there to populate New Eden, and so they can make their numbers look good and blah, blah, blah. Do we know that, though? So, I don't know. Yeah, tackle alts. There you go. And vexers.
I don't know what the Mahler bots are for. I know that they've stated at some point that some of those, not all of them because it's too many, but some of those are used specifically on their end and are automated for testing purposes. So,
well, if you look into it, though, is the Mahler can be used on an alpha account. An alpha account can be used or can use cruiser skills. You can use or get encounters to gain ISK, all on a bot that's an alpha account. So very minimal cost out of your pocket to be able to run an account to RMT ISK for, who knows, 24/7. How much ISK you can make 24/7. So after a week of making ISK, could you have a couple billion? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not doing encounters because they did the limitations, but I think it's part of the RMT ring.
I agree. I kind of had a look at a few of them. I've been flying around, and a lot of the accounts that the Mauler bots have were around 320 odd days old, which takes you back to pretty much immediately after the last ban notice. So I think these are all accounts that were made after the last ban notice that was put out. And if you think about it, if there was, say for instance, there was 50,000 Mauler bots out there running 24/7. That's a trillion ISK a day if they can make 1 million per hour, which isn't hard. If they make 1 million per hour, that's a trillion ISK a day.
Wow.
Now we need that X-Files music.
Yeah.
The truth is out there.
What the fuck?
Well, you can see as to why this is an issue, right?
Oh yeah. I just don't know. The Maulerbot thing is just weird.
Genius.
Because before,
We-
I swear to God, Benzie made a video about the Mauler and how good the Mauler was, and that's when the fucking Mauler bots started showing up. I kid you
That's
not.
his fault. Got it.
He made that video, and all of a sudden, the next week, the Maulers were everywhere. Chinese Maulers
So, I
everywhere.
Benzie is now
Maybe Seb.
the ringleader of RMT.
He is the RMT king. You heard it here first on Echoes of New
Holy
Eden.
shit.
He is the RMT king.
Dude, that's why he doesn't talk anymore, bro. He's just getting the buffers in before the Rico charges.
That's right. That's right. That's why he keeps moving around now. He can't tell you where his location is. Sometimes he shows you pictures of him standing in a field for no reason. I mean,
it's like, see, I'm not near any computers. I'm not the one giving the orders.
Yeah. It's totally throwing everybody off the scent.
My head is like, my brain is exploded right now for the top tier conspiracy that we had just dropped. I can't handle it.
Backed by proof and evidence that we made it up on the fly. Therefore, it must be true because it was that easy to connect. There you go. Biggie Rick even says so.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a
He looks like he's going to sell me something. Like a ShamWow or something.
ShamWow.
Dude, this sales funnel meme is so good, dude. Like, it's just...
It's funny.
Okay. So, yeah, we've seen... We could talk about the issues all day, right? So it's out there. People see it. New Eden sees this. We see it in the market. We see it flying through HiSec. We see in corporations that purchase accounts and do RMT and stuff. Like, all this has been exposed, and I think for the greater part of New Eden, I think a lot of people see this stuff. Now, some people don't. Some people think that it's okay, or they don't really see it as being bad. Maybe not necessarily okay, but bad. And that's where this is kind of what I'm leaning into, is like, well, what are we going to do about it? We could talk to alliances. We could talk to other alliances and say, hey, let's do a war against an entity to minimize them so they don't do this. They'll probably get away with some, and there's probably no actual method to get rid of 100% of it. But what you can do is minimize it. And so if you minimize it, then I think other alliances stand a chance to be able, and just in fairness of the game, it's because you have a certain entity right now that has a lot of characters. Now, I wouldn't say persons, possibly persons too, but a lot of characters. And if you incorporate bots and all that, it's 4x, 5x the amount of characters or persons. So the power trip, right, is like you have an entity that's so powerful because of what? That was an open question.
What? You mean AOA? Powerful because of what? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. How are they powerful?
Numbers. They're controlling the market. The ISK flow and the Plex flow of whatever they can get allows them to be able to corner certain things and build at a pace that nobody else can match because they are literally employees in an RMT empire. That's how.
I mean, their greatest weapon is going to be undisclosed relationships.
Yeah.
Because the fact
Intel
of the
is
matter
everything.
is, like, say,
Intel is everything. Exactly.
No, I don't just mean Intel. It's more powerful than Intel is motive, right? So, for example, say the group, we're all working on a group project, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the wolf problem, right? Like, but you don't know that I'm secretly incentivized to tank the project, and I'm sitting there, I'm showing up to meetings, I'm like, yeah, guys, we're gonna solve this problem or whatnot. You don't really know who's incentivized to solve the problem or not, right? So I think that's actually the best weapon they have.
Yeah. Yep. Fair point.
Einher, what do you think is the best method to approach this, to minimize it?
So first thing would be getting everyone to kind of drop the relationships with the AOA a bit, at least publicly. Make the line pilots that maybe defend AOA outside of their own time not want to turn up to defend AOA. Make the line pilots across the whole of New Eden not want to accept help from AOA if they offer to come and defend their SOV. Personally, I'd probably rather have myself burn than have AOA turn up to defend it. So you got to kind of try and apply that across the whole of all of the organisations, so no one wants to be associated with them, because then it doesn't really matter what the leadership wants, because if the line pilots won't turn up to help, then
Right.
leadership can't really do anything. The other thing is to get NetEase to take action, because if NetEase suddenly frees the wallets of every corporation that illicit funds have travelled through, then that pretty much freezes all of their corps in one go. If they ban accounts for 2 weeks, if those accounts hold supers, then those supers can't be put on grid for 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, SOV could be burned, So you need to put pressure on NetEase to enforce their own rules that the rest of everyone else abides by, and you need to put pressure on people to not support the people that are essentially breaking the game. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to have to run.
No, appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll catch you guys later.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So he had ran out of time. No worries. No worries. So I think, partial to what he was talking about is, he advocated that his corporation to not pay rent because their landlords were blue to AOA, and so that was one of the things that he was advocating for. And actually, I have an update on that too. But if you guys had any comments as to how we could minimize it, and I think too a big one is NetEase actually enforcing their own rules, and not just like, okay, well, we ban one account for this, ban another account for that, and say that they did anything. I don't think that's working necessarily.
I mean, if you want suggestions, I think I have a very pragmatic one that everyone can participate in right now, and we can see the effect of. Right now, like we went over it in the game, right? You can see there's an industry leaderboard, with the exception of my corp. And I challenge anyone to do this, right? There's no propaganda here. You in-game, don't trust anyone. You in-game, look up what Einher did on one screen, and on your other screen, you pull up in-game the event thing, and just click on every one of the top 10 corps and see what they have in common. Now, commonly, when there's an indie event, right, these people have to haul to Jita to make money. Go kill their haulers. If you think a corp is RMTing, target their haulers during this event, because they're incentivized to haul during the next 2 weeks, right? Them waiting it out and sitting on ISK is not something they're incentivized to do. Literally, for the folks that are not familiar, when you see that ISK number, that's not the value of the craft they're completing. That's the ISK that was destroyed. So if they can't haul and they can't make ISK that they're not sitting on and they can't get mats, the shit stops. And they're incentivized to do that because if you're an RMT Corp and you're getting medals and you buy medals from them, guess what happens to that ISK? So like when that waifu medal comes out in 3 months and it says 20 bill, guess where your 20 bill's going?
Yep.
Just being like super, super real because those medals are popular and there's a leaderboard, right? Like we can literally see what the effect is, right? So if you're killing their haulers and you see that they slow down, you had an effect. If you're killing their haulers and you see that they didn't slow down, that means they have another partner you don't know about, or they have more assets sitting in that citadel that you didn't know about. Everyone can participate. It's on for another 16 days.
Yep.
People paying for medals. LOL. Wow.
Yeah, apparently there was, who was it that was selling? There was someone, I gotta ask one of my guys, but there was some corp that was trying to sell, I feel like they said it was like 30 to 40 bill for a waifu medal. I don't remember if that was
That's
the real
crazy.
number, but it was like something stupid. It was more than 20 bill. It was something stupid like that.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to do that.
Dallas, if you want to do that, you definitely can. Just send it to my Eon box if you can, and whenever Radbo gets me the key, I'll pick it up.
Sure. His E1 mailbox at occan'tstop@e1.com. So, yeah. So since then, since his post and stress has been kind of implemented to a number of corporations or alliances, I guess you could say, for possibly taking care of some of the issues that they've been seeing. One big thing that had come out of it was Kraken is going to go neutral to AOA. I have the post from the Diplo Center on my E1 channel. It said, "This is Jacoba's statement. It says, "Good morning. By now I'm sure you've heard that Kraken is and AOA will set each other gray effective on the 4th of October 2024. This has been a long time coming and much planning has gone into this, and I'm sure you can understand. He did his best to signal this during the E1 podcasts, so it's likely that there's no big surprise there. And they're hopeful and they expect to see spikes in PvP content and other communities." So I know the question's been asked, like, hey, when are you gonna neutral AOA now that it's a whole new thing? Like, well, but I think, in respect to Jacoba, I think he really did want to, but he had to clear some things up from previous leadership, and that's probably what took the longest. And with it being a new entity, I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, I could speculate all day, all that I want. Ultimately, I think that he did the right choice. Did I try advocating for that? I may have asked that question, but I figured that eventually that was probably going to be the case for the better of the players. But we had asked all that stuff before this RMT thing came out. Now, did the RMT thing kind of put a little additional stress to it? Possibly, because this was accessible to a lot of members within Kraken. A lot of members within Kraken may not listen to this podcast to be like, oh, well, we've been saying this in the entire time, and so they may not realize. But with this RMT scandal, that thing that's been exposed and going around New Eden, I think a lot of people are starting to kind of wake up a bit and realize or share it as to like, hey, this is crazy. Have you heard about this? Like, I had to tell my wife, I was like, have you not heard about this? Like, this has been an issue a long time. But she doesn't keep up with the Eve Echoes news. She does her own thing in the game and all that type of stuff. I'm more of the gossip queen, right? So I talk about this stuff. So, I mean, per the announcement, Taylor, I know you got the announcement before I did. So what was your response to that?
I think he put it in my Diplo channel before he put it in ours for the E1, because we have two separate ones for some reason, because they don't seem to be able to keep it clear in their heads when I'm speaking on behalf of the podcast or when I'm speaking on behalf as the executive silent. They seem to they have to really have two separate channels for that. They can't handle that. So yeah, I got like a day or two before you did, and my reaction to it was just a thumbs up, and that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
supposedly they've been planning on this for a long time. Supposedly, Silent is spinning all of this to be as part of the RMT thing, even though I haven't said a thing public at all, period, until just now. And my reaction is, okay, like, no, it's whatever. I think they've had this in their mindset since the beginning of when they started Kraken. If you go back and look at their purple, disgusting, ugly, PDF 2-page declaration of who they are, Krakarians being one of the things that they declared. They stated that they wanted to have control of their own destiny. And if you look at where they are on the map, like to have control of your own destiny means that like you have to get rid of the giant shit bag in the middle of your two areas of Soth. Like, has anybody ever looked at the map and noticed that since they formed Kraken? What is in between Burr and Void Space? It's 100% AOA.
Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? There you go. There you go.
That's all it is. And it's like, so them going gray on AOA right now, like that's pretty freaking risky for them.
No, it's big. That's huge. And I think that I mean, it huge commitment from their leadership. And like, honestly, like, I mean, I'm not in their VoIPs or anything, but like, that's props, dude. Even if people might say, well, they're not fully whatever, and I know I just said a thing about undisclosed relationships, but even going gray, that's a massive step, and they should get props for that. For real, that's huge, especially during this event.
So yeah,
Jane needs to learn how to spell board.
I was looking at their announcement there, and it's basically a non-aggression pact.
It's a NIP,
or NIP. Non-invasive. No structure warfare, including POS. No going into other territories with supers. Both sides can hunt any kind of ship type as long as they follow rule number 2. So, yeah, it's interesting to see if that goes both ways on the AOA side.
Someone's carrier is going to die. Someone's dread's going to die. Somebody's super is going to die.
Well, they've already been killing. I've already seen multiple carriers and Rorks die from AOA corporations or previous AOA corporations, AOS or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, that shit is already happening.
Right.
But he specifically says super carriers in the announcement. So.
Right. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, somehow, some way. They're going to get into a little bit of a sticky situation there. So
interesting, very interesting. Okay, I think that is all that I had for that topic. Basically, I wanted to get Einher on the show, talk about it, some of the stuff that he's found and he's exposed, and some of the stuff that he's working on in the future. I believe he's going to do a video, kind of doing a I don't even know how it's going to play out, but I heard that he was going to do a video on it, so hopefully that's pretty good as to all the stuff that's come out with it. I hope to get an answer from Minaru about it. I hope that NetEase does do something about this. This is freaking ridiculous. And why does it take so long? I have no idea. Maybe it's just a NetEase thing at this point. We're kind of used to it, so shame on us for having to wait. But
I think we're impatient because we've been looking for something that's going to be the final nail in the coffin for a very, very long time, and there hasn't really been a. I mean, look, all of these revelations that he put together and the way he put it together with the graph and everything else is fantastic. But it's not like we didn't know this before. We just have some very definitive, and we've had proof of different things before as well. This is way more definitive, way more detailed than any all-in-one nice collected, bucket, if you will, more so than what we've had before in the past. So,
what I think is funny is I thought, according to Kraken, and maybe I'm just speculating now, is they thought that I was part of SHH leadership.
Yeah, I saw that in that chat. I was like,
I'm like,
hell?
No,
we know you're the shadow executor, dude. Jesus, stop denying it. Like, this is so awkward for you,
You
Rambo.
telegraph it so much.
Full propaganda right now.
Propaganda Unleashed.
Bro, that's what I'm
Propaganda Unleashed is, they thought I was part of, like, the exec team or, like, up to par with, like, what Taylor does. No, I don't do any of that stuff.
No.
Like, because they released that statement, they were like, oh, well, we put it in the SHH channel. I'm like, no,
they don't even know you're not over there. What the hell? That was so funny. I mean, shit happens. I get it. You've got like a whole new Discord set up. You got people running this, that, and the other.
Or it's not just them, but it's a lot of people. They're like, oh, well, you're SHH leadership. I'm like, no, I'm not.
This is a podcast.
I don't do anything with. Yeah, I don't do anything with the SHH leadership.
I did love that.
Rambo is actually NetEase leadership.
Yeah.
Rip.
I do love that meme that came
saying
out.
My secrets.
The one where you see the guys around the boardroom or whatever, and the one guy comes up with a good idea, and that's the one they throw out the window. But someone made one about trying to find the new executive for SHH, and the one guy goes, "Hey, why don't we give it to the guy who has a podcast?"
That's funny.
I mean, truly, you do own it, right? I mean,
right? Yeah, sure.
So
I had to make my own podcast.
Yeah,
E2.
He's got his own.
E-Frontier.
Hey, speaking of, do you want to do a Frontier podcast?
I'm already doing it. What do you mean? I started my own.
I added together at the end of that.
Oh, sure. We can. Whenever it comes out, I mean, I can't really do anything with what we got right now. It's going to have to.
Hey, you know what? I should offer some corporation recruiting advertisement posts. If people want to recruit or do their corporations in Frontier, if they want to make a recruiting ad, I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not breaking NDA.
No.
Ark Survival Evolved. That is the
my
fucking
God.
game right now.
Oh my God.
Ark Survival Ascended is where it's at.
And with that, the show's over.
Telling you. No, anyway, hey, let's talk about this Fireside real quick and some of the stuff that you hit on and potentially for future content.
Okay.
SHH is, and I mean, is this news at this point? SHH is putting on a little bit more aggressive acts on Meow as of late. So
Well,
there's
I mean,
kind of things going on there.
Well, okay, so first and foremost, I don't think this is the right platform for me to just go and start talking about the fireside that was for Silent Alliance that I held yesterday morning. So with that, I'm not going to like tell you, if you find it and you get the recording, you go listen to it, then great, good for you. But with that said, the Meow War has been going on for a couple of months, and we've really been half-assing it this entire time. I mean, no joke. We have not put real pressure on Meow the entire time. And they've struggled to keep up with, Trog hitting them, CRB hitting them, VVV hitting them, Bot5 hitting them, and Silent hitting them. Like all five of us just kind of fucking around, essentially. And they've really had a hard time. They couldn't even drop a Citadel and Cloud Ring and hold it, and they tried 5 times. So I mean, we blew it up on anchor. So I mean, most of them. So yeah, I mean, now though it's kind of time to, the timing is very good for us to kind of ratchet things up and then be done and move on. I got bigger fish to fry. Our time playing with the kiddies has been great, but they're not able to put up much of a fight anymore. So it's time to just ramp it up, finish it, and move on. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. Is it's been going on for a while. It's not anything new to SHH, as anybody probably knows. And they've been fighting for a long time. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then, I mean, the Fireside comes out, and it's like, okay, there's a little additional push, little additional incentive.
I delivered my second shortest Fireside of all time, which was my second Fireside. It was my second one.
That was
27,
20. I think it was like 27 or 29 minutes long. You think you're
I was
world
done
record shortest.
I was done at 12:46, and then Joda started talking.
Yeah, true. Very true, Joda. I think Joda talked more than you did.
He probably did. That's fine. Joda's great.
I need to get numbers. I need to get the numbers of the amount of time each person was talking. But anyway, I think the shortest Fireside Taylor's ever had was like 7 minutes.
That was my first one when we ended the Void War. Yeah, it was just over 7 minits, barely like 7 minutes. And
I think second place was about 14 minutes. It was like 12 or 14 minutes. And then we really haven't had too many Taylor Rick Firesides.
Nope, I don't do very many.
I tell you what, if I was exec, you'd have Firesides every week. Just saying.
My God, would we have to like and subscribe?
Dude, I'll even play my SHH Executor music. Check this out, huh?
Oh my God.
I'll be talking. I'll be ranting about everything. I'll play my SHH Executor music right there. And yeah, I have it queued. Every week I have it queued. Because I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know when I'm going to go on an SHH Executor rant. I honestly don't. So I keep it in the queue at all times, basically. But
70s porn music is the opener. I honestly was going to play my one song that I made, though, called like, "All Right, Good Firesides." I thought about playing that at the beginning before the fireside started, but I didn't want to totally piss everybody off. Although that would have been hilarious.
All right, good Firesides.
Have you listened to that one? It's great. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I got. That's all I got for show notes. So unless you guys have anything to add.
I'm good. Good show. See, it wasn't a snoozer. And that announcement you made for today for the time, those two guys who put the yawns in there, I was just trolling them, fucking with them. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. It's not a yawn. Right. My joke was, I'm going to be here today, therefore it's going to be entertaining. They took it as salt. Whatever.
Yeah, we always got to throw some jokes and stuff in there.
Exactly.
Makes for a good time.
Yep.
I do appreciate our staff that had joined us today. Thank you, OC. Thank you, GB, for driving and listening. And thank you, Taylor, for joining. And thank you to the audience that had sat there and listened to us for an hour and almost a half. Actually, an hour and 45 minutes on my clock. So,
yep.
But I recorded a little bit early, too. But thank you, everybody, for joining. And the beep is going to forever stick in my head. I'm going to make sure that gets added to the OC Can't Stop soundboard.
Oh, my God.
And we'll call it at that. All right. So say your goodbyes, guys, and then we'll call it a show.
See you guys next week.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
out, peeps.
everyone.
Waifu. Lamau.